Manchester United won, Arsenal won. And believe it or not, Manchester United deserved to win that game. Going into that game, looking at our lineup, looking at our bench, if someone said 1-1 and United being the better team, I'd have been like, yeah. I would have taken that. I'm gutted we didn't win at full time because we had the chances to win. Bruno right at the end, Xerxes with a nice Garnacho ball into Xerxes, Højlund, but Declan Rice made a fantastic tackle. Even Mazraoui won the save from Raya, and Arsenal were lucky that Declan Rice and David Raya saved them today because we were the better team. We played better than Arsenal, and Arsenal can say their squad's depleted, but their squad is nowhere near as depleted as our squad. And I'm actually really impressed with that. The first 35 minutes of the match was absolutely awful. It was pathetic. I'd have taken 1-1 after watching the first 35 minutes, but that Bruno Fernandes goal sparked life into Manchester United. And how many times has Bruno Fernandes changed the game for us? How many times has Bruno done something and we've actually woke up? And Bruno Fernandes is still the one that mainstream media, some of them are calling the problem. He is the least of our problems. We're going to talk about Bruno Fernandes in more detail later, but I want to share my general thoughts on the game before we talk about Bruno, before we talk about Ayden Heaven. Smash a like for Bruno Fernandes because I think Bruno Fernandes is becoming one of the most underrated players in world football, and I think if you threw in a Barcelona or Madrid side where he was winning La Ligas and Champions Leagues, we'd be talking about him as a potential Ballon d'Or winner. And people might think I'm talking absolute rubbish, but I think Bruno Fernandes is a top 10 player in the world, but because he's at Manchester United, he will not be able to be a top 10 player in the world because he doesn't have the players around him. I strongly believe that. And people will think I'm deluded, but I will stick with that. Now let's talk about the game. Manchester United had the higher XG. Apparently Arsenal had more big chances than us, but I think the Xerxes chance was a big chance. I think the Højlund chance was a big chance, but it won't count as a big chance because he didn't shoot. I think, Højlund had another good chance not long after that, actually. We got the ball to Højlund. Mazraoui's was a big chance. Bruno, De Ligt had a header. We had 5 big chances, or 5 good chances, in my opinion. Whereas I thought we were the better team with the better chances, and I thought it was a Declan Rice just saving Arsenal because I have to say we defended really, really well, and I was impressed with the defensive performance. I'm going to say this now, and I retweeted someone saying this earlier, but De Ligt has been really good for Manchester United the last month. Like, I was never the biggest fan of De Ligt coming in, but I said there was 3 or 4 centre backs I liked more than De Ligt. But when I looked at the price tag of De Ligt, I said, you know what, this is a leader, this is a solid signing. But when we first linked to De Ligt and people were saying 60 million, I was like, no. But then it was 40 million, I was like, all right. But De Ligt for the past month has been good. He's been good for the last month, and I think our backline has got a lot better. Our problem under Amorim isn't off the ball. The only issues under Amorim off the ball is the fact that we don't have players that can play at the intensity and cover the ground that Amorim wants. Our problem under Amorim is on the ball. It's getting the wing backs forward, creating chances, having a striker that can score. De Ligt has been good lately. He's very good in the box. He's very good at winning the duels. I think, yes, when it comes to playing out from the back and passing, he has a few weaknesses, but I think he's very good off the ball and does everything you need. And he brought a bit of leadership there because Heaven is 18, Yoro is 19. He is the guy that is there. He is the leader. He's the experience. I know Lindelof was playing today, but let's be honest. And I thought De Ligt did really well. And I think, people are quite overcritical on De Ligt. And I think when you're 14th in the league, people will be overcritical on your players in general. But I thought De Ligt was good. And I thought Leny Yoro had a really good first half today. It's a shame that he came off injured, but I think he won lots of duels, dealt with Ranieri well, difficult game. And I think every game Leny Yoro has got gradually better and better and better. So I was really happy with that. I thought Mazraoui could arguably be man of the match. The way he got forward, that was Mazraoui's best performance in wing back, really causing problems. And David Raya wonder save literally denied him from making it 2-0, and we deserved to make it 2-0, so I'm actually gutted with the draw. And when I looked at that lineup, I was like, I'll take anything for a draw. But Ayden Heaven, I'm going to talk about him in more detail, but confident on the ball, strong physically, dealt with Martinelli really well. Like, Ayden Heaven gets thrown into this game. We're 1-0 up. We are literally defending a lead. He's got a lot of work to do. Arsenal are one of the best teams in the league. They scored 7 versus PSV. And he is there, and he is like, yeah, he was really, really good today. He did not look out of place. I thought Casemiro had his best game under Amorim. I saw a statistic to see it that said Casemiro made 8 out of 9 tackles in the first 65 minutes. And if Casemiro had a few more legs on him, he would be a good player because he is a good player in terms of where to position himself and understanding, but he doesn't have those legs. Bruno Fernandes, where would we be without him? We'll talk about that in more detail. Højlund had to score his chance. I think confidence is an issue. I think if Højlund has scored 7 goals in his last 7 games, he hits that first time when he scores, I think Cheetah would score that opportunity. You can't defend Højlund. I thought Eriksen was poor, and Eriksen was at fault for the goal for me. He wasn't marking Declan Rice. He was out of. Like, I couldn't remember Eriksen on the pitch for like 20 minutes, and I was thinking, why isn't Amorim taking him off? Positives: Garnacho worked really hard and created good chances. Strong performance. I thought he was really good in the second half. I much prefer Alejandro Garnacho on the right. You know, he's been getting a lot of stick lately. He was frustrating me the last game. But I have to say, I was really impressed with Garnacho this game. And what I noticed about Garnacho, and I don't know if many people will talk about this, was the way he was really sort of tracking back. And when Mazraoui went forward, Garnacho was getting back and he was putting in a shift. And I know it could be frustrating at times, but he created a good ball into Ligt, good ball into Xerxes, good ball into Højlund. He was causing issues. He was causing Calafiori issues. And I thought that was one of Garnacho's better games for United. But it was Declan Rice who was monstrous today for Arsenal. David Raya, monstrous today for Arsenal. But let's talk about Ayden Heaven, because I thought this was a really good debut from Ayden Heaven. And I say debut, but I mean like Premier League debut, because I know he played versus Fulham in the FA Cup, and I feel like this was his Premier League debut, unless he came on for 10 minutes somewhere. I can't remember. Anyway, showed his quality on the ball. Really good on the ball, very good at carrying out from the back, very comfortable on the ball, and we need that in our wide centre-backs. But today was more off the ball. Obviously, you've got to be good on the ball, play out, but today was going to be a challenge off the ball. Positionally, you know, it's difficult to adjust to playing in the back three, being in a back three, wide centre back. I thought he did really well in terms of positionally, where to be, was willing to get forward, was willing to get back. I thought he dealt with Martinelli well. He's come into a tough game. He's got to play 45 minutes versus Arsenal. And yeah, I thought he was really impressive. I thought he used his body well, you know, really dealt with Martinelli well, was winning the 1v1s. He looks quick, and, you know, every game that he has is going to build up much needed experience and confidence. And, you know, being thrown into two difficult games and putting in a defensive shift and not looking out of place and not making any silly errors. And, you know, some people argue, oh, maybe Arsenal could have had a penalty, but it would have been an incredibly unlucky decision if that went against him. I thought he was really, really good today, and I think he can be really happy with that performance and sort of take that performance moving forward as a young player. He really stepped up for me. I'm just going to read out Ayden Heaven's game numbers here. In 45 minutes, he made 1 tackle, 2 interceptions, 3 clearances, won 2 out of 2 aerial duels, won 2 out of 3 ground duels, and 18 years of age, Premier League debut against his former club. He did not disappoint. You know, Arsenal fans are probably doing anything they can to see if they could clip up a mistake of him or anything like that, and he was absolutely faultless. Absolutely faultless today. Looked very comfortable in the back three. Really, really happy with him as well. And I think him, left centre back, Yoro potentially central or right centre back. I do think our defence has a good future. I think Ligt has stepped up recently. Mazraoui can do a job at centre back. Yoro's looked a lot better recently. Heaven's looked decent. It's a shame Leach is out, but I look at our defence and I say, you know what? I think our defence has a future. It's the attack. It's the attack and the wing backs. That's what we need. And I think once you get the wing backs in the front three, I think we could be in a good place under Ruben Amorim. I do believe that. And I want to just see how athletic he was, how comfortable he was on the ball, winning the duels on numerous occasions. Big fan of Ayden Heaven. I even think, you know, box defending looked good as well. But it's the athleticness, the lanky legs, the comfortability on the ball is what I really did like about Ayden Heaven. So let's continue on into, for me, arguably top 3 most underrated players in world football, Bruno Fernandes. And these are non-Man United fans saying this. In another universe, Bruno Fernandes is a multiple UCL winner of Real Madrid or Barcelona, an invaluable piece to an eternal football dynasty. In this universe, he's constantly the biggest spark at declining Manchester United. Do not hold this against Bruno. Uma, who's a Manchester City fan, said, what Bruno Fernandes has done for Manchester United for years is textbook definition of no help. I don't get how United fans, more than anyone else, gets onto him. He's iconic. My opinion of him has changed over the years. I'm a genuine fan. What Roy Keane is giving Bruno Fernandes stick, and people won't like me for saying this, but throw Roy Keane into this Manchester United side and he would not be the same player. You know, he's a fantastic player, Roy Keane, and we need him in this Manchester United side in his prime. But you can be a great player, but when you have to do everything, Bruno Fernandes is, under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, we played into his strengths. Number 10, creative guy. The numbers he got under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer were record-breaking. Under Ruben Amorim, it is, you're everything, Bruno. You are the DM because you can cover the most ground in midfield. You can take on the defensive responsibility. You can progress the ball. You're the attacking midfielder. You're the creator. You're also the goal scorer. He is our top goal scorer. He is the top creator in the Premier League. I think only Mo Salah's created like 2 more chances than him, which is crazy to think how many more assists Mo Salah has than him this season. You know, he's our best player at progressing the ball. He makes tackles, duels. He covers the most ground. He runs his heart out. Bruno Fernandes has to do everything at Manchester United. People don't realise how much he does. And I think people won't realise how good he is until he leaves. And he could leave this summer because he could think, I'm 31. I'm a top player. I'm not getting anywhere with United. We are 14th. Bruno Fernandes, if Bruno Fernandes played today instead of Odegaard, Arsenal win, because with the possession Arsenal have, if Bruno Fernandes is getting the ball as much as Odegaard is in those positions, Bruno Fernandes is creating something for Arsenal, and Arsenal will get a winner. And people won't like me for saying that, but Bruno Fernandes is so underappreciated, and football fans always pick on the wrong players. When things are going wrong at Manchester United, it's Bruno's fault, it's Rashford's fault. When they were scoring the goals, De Gea got the blame, Ronaldo got the blame. You're picking on the wrong people. The problems are the players that we know are not good enough for Manchester United. Not Bruno Fernandes, who is. People might not like him. People might not like his play style, how frustrating he can be. But he's our best player. And without him and without Ahmed this season, we are where Ipswich Town are. We are in a relegation battle. He's the only reason that we're not sitting here worried about relegation. The amount of times he stepped up and saved us in big games, he's one of the most underappreciated players in football. And people won't like me for saying this, but I think Bruno's fantastic. I want to give a shout out to Mazraoui, though. One of his best attacking performances at wing-back, if not the best. Big opposition, did really well, got forward really well. For him and Garnacho worked well together. I want to give a shout out to him. Let me know your thoughts down below. Thank you for watching. Bye.